Chase people over here. Obviously, this is my channel. I think that's gonna be my like catchphrase. Every time I start a video, hey, it's Chase Boo, obvi, it's me. That's kind of boring. I'm just gonna stop talking. Today I'm talking about the much controversial topic of, is transsexualism a medical condition? I have been asked to make this video for years, and I've decided, got my trans flag behind me, my beautiful flower shirt, cat tattoo on the arm, let's do it. First of all, I feel like this debate is split up into three parts. So first, there's the people who absolutely believe that transsexualism is a medical condition. Then you have the people who, opposite, not a medical condition, trans as an identity. And then you have the people in the middle who just don't give a shit. They're just like, whatever, live your life, who cares? Honestly, I don't feel like I'm the authority on a lot of trans topics because I don't, deal with them a lot. I don't feel like I'm the authority on this topic. But throughout the years, my views on things have been, pretty much consistent with everything. But viewing transsexuality or transsexualism as a medical condition hasn't changed, but it has for me. Only because I realized that yes, I'm using medical intervention to transition, and without it being a medical condition, I literally wouldn't be here right now. So that's really interesting to me. I actually also wrote a paper that was published on the problem of inclusion within the trans umbrella with transgender and transsexual men, which is really weird how I just said it right now. It sounds more intellectual. I just kind of just spewed it out. We're going to stop talking. So if you're just like tuning into my videos and you have no idea what transsexualism is, transsexualism is basically somebody who is, and I'm going to talk about FTMs, female to male trans people, so myself, because that's who I am. I don't have the authority on trans women because I'm not a trans woman. So female to male trans individuals. So these individuals have used medical intervention to transition, whether it be with hormones or surgery. Now, before you go all crazy on me with all these definitions, this is the actual definition that is placed in like dictionaries, which I know are written by cis people, but can we just calm down? Calm down. The treatment for trans people and everything, whatever. So transsexualism is usually the medical aspect of being trans, whereas transgender is more of, for some people, like an identity base, where it's an umbrella term with lots of different terms, categorization underneath it, like non-binary, even transsexual can be put under the transgender umbrella. So, right now that's not what we're talking about. There's so many debates in this video. Oh my god, please don't yell at me. So is transsexualism a medical condition? I think the really short answer to this question is yes, only because it is part of the medical community, and you, in most places in the world, you cannot transition unless you've gone through the medical route. So you absolutely have to go see a therapist. You have to get diagnosed with gender dysphoria, which was originally called gender identity disorder. Then you need to go to, more therapy. Then if you want, you need to go on hormones. And then if you want top surgery, if you want hysterectomy, if you want bottom surgery. That's usually the step that it goes in. Now, honestly, if you are trans and you identify as trans and you take hormones and you don't identify with being transsexual because you don't like that it's a medical aspect, that's fine. I'm not saying that everybody who's ever taking hormones has to identify themselves or is transsexual. I'm just saying, I think that for everybody, it's not a label as in an identity, but it's somebody's choice to label and categorize themselves as having a medical condition rather than having an identity. So for me, my entire life on YouTube, I've always said transgender is an identity. Always, always, always. But now that I'm more open about more of these views, I've kind of in that like middle section where obviously I am transsexual and I identify with that aspect of my transition because I've been on hormones, because I've been fortunate enough to have top surgery and medically transition. So obviously, without it being a medicalized and a medical condition, I would not be here right now, transitioned. But I also take it as part of my identity because it's so, so important to me and so crucial in my identity as myself to be trans. So me being transgender is actually really, it's like a lot of people don't like this, and this is honestly just for me, it's like an identifier for me. And only because I work so closely with the trans people, I'm an advocate, I'm a supporter, I make videos, I help people, information, all this shit. So for me, because I do all of these things related to trans people, especially in academia, it's important for it to be an identifier for me so that people can realize that, oh, this work is actually being done by a trans person, so that can actually bring more validity to the work. Especially in academia, where I talk about masculinity, trans men, identity, passing, transition, and so on. I feel like having my name out there and being identified and self-identify myself as a transsexual and a transgender individual who is not afraid of these labels and who actually embraces them is great for me. So I'm talking about me, obviously. If you don't feel like this, that's fine. I think a really, really important aspect here that I want to talk about, because it's talked about like crazy on Tumblr, is people who say that they don't want transsexuals or transsexualism, to be part of like a medical community because they don't want to be medicalized and they don't want to feel like they're like some type of disease or disorder. Honestly, it's not called gender identity disorder anymore for a reason. It's called gender dysphoria. So because it's called gender dysphoria, the whole disease and disorder is out. It's not there anymore. We are not categorized as sick. Okay, now a lot of people still think that because it's a medical condition, you have to fix it. If you think about it, I have depression. More specifically, I have SAD, so seasonal affective disorder, which I've talked about in many of my other videos. My nose is itchy, I'm not picking it, I swear to God. So because I have this, and it's a medical condition, I actually have to get it treated, right? And the way to treat it is usually with therapy and antidepressants. This is almost the same thing for, being trans. A lot of people are not gonna like the way I say this. That's how it is, right? I mean, we cannot argue with how the world is because that's how it is. We have to go through the Harry Benjamin, whatever, standard of care in order to transition. And that says that you need to be diagnosed with gender dysphoria and need to transition. It really doesn't matter if you don't want testosterone or top surgery or any type of surgery. That's fine, it's up to you, it's all you. But I'm really talking about like the medicalization aspect. So people don't like that it's medicalized because they probably relate it to people with depression and people with illnesses, which is what I did in the beginning. But then after I've come to realize that, look, doctors know a little bit about transsexualism because it's in the DSM-5. And I mean, it sucks that it's in the DSM-5 only because there are so many other things that are like super close to it, like sexual dysfunctions or something like that. I think that's what it's near, and so that sucks that it's like so close to that, So, but still, you have to think that if it wasn't there, we wouldn't be here. So like I said, most people embrace trans as more of an identity or as who they are. Some people embrace transsexualism as an identity and who they are, and some people would just say, look, I am a guy and I'm transsexual, and that's it, and it's a medical condition, and the way to treat it is with hormones and therapy and surgery. And then you have people like me that are just like, honestly, I do believe that I was fortunate enough to benefit from this medical condition, so I do embrace it because I do believe it's a medical condition, but I also believe that it's an identity, and I don't think that we should be on either sides of each other. I think that we should kind of embrace that both of the sides kind of exist, and maybe we could just live happily together. So yeah, a lot of people are not gonna like that. The short answer was yes. Is transsexual a medical condition? Yes, it is. But everybody transitions differently, and everybody has their own view of their transition. So I think that it's great that we can just move on and just all have different transitions. Do you know what I mean? I don't think I'm talking about anything that makes sense anymore, so I think I'm just gonna end it. If you'd like me to talk more about this topic, I'm really interested in this, and I did write a paper about this that was published in the sexuality journal of my school, which is great. And yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know. I don't think that it's right to invalidate anybody's view of themselves or their identity. So that goes for people who believe they have a medical condition, they are transsexual, and they invalidate somebody who, is on hormones and says that they're not transsexual. I think that that's not good, and I don't think that it's good for people who don't identify as transsexual to say, ew, it's not a medical condition, that's disgusting, you don't have a medical condition, you're just trans. I think that both of those are actually invalidating of somebody's identity, and I think that people should just be able to interpret themselves as ever the heck they want. If I want to identify as somebody who has a transsexual, a medical condition, then that's me. If I want to be someone who's just identity-based transgender, or somebody who just wants to be stealth and just doesn't care about anything, who cares? It's just me. Let's just stop invalidating each other and just, let's be bros. I'm kidding. Oh my god, have a great week. Boop.